Good morning, my friends. How are you? My name is Elizabeth Worm, and I'm the Director of Religious Education at St. Peter's Parish in Mansfield. And right now, we are still under a stay-at-home order, at least for Masses. Masses won't resume until May 29th, right after that. And so we're going to have to celebrate the Mass at home for a while. But while we're staying at home, I decided to invite you to my home. And here we are at my home. I'm in the front yard, actually, of my house. And you can see we have our porch right over there. We have some crazy porch furniture happening. But I brought you out in front of my house today to look at our Mary. May is the month that is dedicated to Mary. And so we have our Mary right out in front of our house. And in fact, my boys and I, we planted some flowers for Mary, and they're not quite sprouting up yet, but hopefully in the next couple weeks they will be. But Mary has a month of May and October dedicated to her. And in the month of May, she's most important because it's the month where we celebrate so much about Mary and what she meant to us. I always think of it this way because Mary holds a special place in my heart as a mother, that when she was standing at the foot of the cross, Jesus said to her, "Behold your son," to John. And to John, he said, "Behold your mother." So in that specific moment, Jesus gave Mary to all of us to be our mothers. But Mary, she gives us so many lessons to learn in life. For instance, when she was just a little girl, she was probably about 13, 14 years old, is when she was told she was going to be the mother of Christ. She was engaged, but she wasn't quite married yet. And so you can imagine maybe how terrified she would be. She'd be about as old as some of our 8th graders. But what did she do? She said yes to God's will. We learn, and one of my favorite Bible stories about Mary is at the wedding at Cana, where they ran out of wine. And she walks up to Jesus and says, "Hey, they're out of wine. You should do something about that." And what does Jesus say to her? "It's not my time yet, woman. It's not my time yet, woman." But Mary knew that if she took her concerns to Jesus, they would be answered. Mary is the only person who is born without sin besides Christ. She experienced something called the Immaculate Conception, which meant that she was born without original sin from the time that she was in her mother Anne's womb. So she also experienced the Assumption, which means she's the only person who was taken into heaven, body and soul. Okay? She is essential to Christ's salvation story, and that's why we honor her. And we say many prayers to Mary. We say the Hail Mary, and I'll show you our picture of our Hail Mary if I can do it. We have a big stone here that says the Hail Mary. We say the Rosary, which you should always do often. Or even if you can't get through the whole thing, just say a couple Hail Marys or maybe a decade of the Rosary, because they consider it the most powerful weapon that we have in our times. Padre Pio actually said that. So this month takes a special time to dedicate to Mary as the mother of us all. And you can do that in 1,000 different ways. One of the church's traditions is actually to crown Mary. Now, there won't be many May crownings happening this year because of COVID-19. But what you could do is if you have a little statue of Mary in your home, much like the one behind me, give her some flowers. Put some around her head. Make a paper chain and put it around her head. There's so many different ways to do it. I know at my home, we're going to make a small paper chain and put it around Mary's head. Not this one outside because it would get soaked, but we're going to do one inside. You can make a rosary out of M&Ms. You can just say a couple extra Hail Marys, however you choose to celebrate her. But definitely celebrate her because she's one of the most important people of our faith. She's one of the most important saints that we have. In fact, I would say the most important saint that we have. And the most important lesson we learned from Mary is she said yes when many of us would have said no. And so we always need to say yes to God. You have a wonderful week ahead. Enjoy this beautiful spring weather. Get out there, and if you have a Mary outside, plant some flowers, put a wreath on her head. If you have a Mary inside, put some flowers around her head. And if you don't have a Mary at all, make one out of construction paper. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.